This is a custom build by Haste Repair Group. All fit into this nice compact case with some neat stripes and orange LED case fans. And that graphics card is a Gigabyte Aorus GTX 1080 Extreme Edition, 8GB of GDDR5X, and that is on a ASUS Prime B350M-E motherboard with a AMD Ryzen 7 1700X CPU, 8 cores and 16 threads. Here on the top I/O of the PC case, we have an SD card reader, mini SD card reader, USB 3.0, USB 2.0, and microphone and headphone jack. On the front, you can see there is a removable panel for an optical drive and a 120mm intake case fan. And there's a Hyper 212 Cooler Master CPU cooler, and also 16GB of Corsair Vengeance 3000 MHz RAM dual channel, and we have the orange LED exhaust fan there as well. Some pretty good cooling. What you'll see later is also another additional exhaust fan put into the top of the case, and down below there is a 600 watt EVGA 600BR power supply. There's the second exhaust fan on the top, non-RGB, but offers more cooling solution for the compact style case. I have not run into any heating issues with any of my tests. Everything performs really well and has a really nice look to it that I kind of appreciate, being given that window and good viewing access for all the innards of this PC. So here on the rear I/O of the motherboard, we have old style PS2 mouse and keyboard, some display ports you don't really need to use, 4x USB 3.0, USB 3.1 times 2, RJ45 Ethernet port, and audio in and out. On the graphics card, we have HDMI, 3 DisplayPort, and 1 DVI. So on to the games. Here we have Apex Legends running between 130 and 160 frames per second on high settings. You can definitely have a smooth experience in this game, whether you're playing competitively or just for fun, or just like me, who's always playing training mode just to test out systems. And here, Back 4 Blood, we had an average of 115 to 130 frames per second, sometimes dipping down to 105 or 110 depending on what's happening on the screen. And here we have Borderlands 3 going from 95 to roughly 115 frames per second, depending again what's going on the screen. These are definitely some higher graphic settings as well. Here we have Dead by Daylight on ultra graphics settings, running always at a solid 60 frames per second. With the right graphics card and CPU combo, this game looks really good. And with VSync activated, you don't really need to get over 60 frames per second in this game. With FortNite, a game I rarely play except for testing out systems, we have between 95 and 120 frames per second, what I noticed while playing this one match. Very fluid experience. And PUBG ran very well On high settings, we get anywhere from 115 to 150 or 160 frames per second. And Skater XL, 60 frames per second solid with VSync activated. Again, this is another game where you don't necessarily need to have high frames per second, but you can turn VSync off if that's what you desire. And the Unigine Superposition Benchmark offered some favorable results, all running on 1080p high settings. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what this CPU and GPU combo can do in 2022, which is quite a bit.